Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We have a 1-hour Ask Me Anything session with two wonderful guests today. We're going to talk about basically anything and everything. We have some amazing questions that have popped in already via the form. You guys also have an opportunity to ask questions live. We're going to keep this very conversational, but please, if there's anything that comes up as we're going, don't hesitate to ask that question. There's a little button at the bottom that says QA. You can click on that and ask a question, and I'll pose it to our panelists. So let's get started. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Rebecca Mazer. I am the Senior Manager for the Academic and Relations team with Aspen Dental Management. Now, Aspen Dental Management is a built-in consulting partner that offers all types of support to our practice owners. We are here to support our practice owners. We're here to educate the students. We want to make sure that students understand how our model works. Not every DSO is the same. So we are here to offer insight, and we're also here to offer some awesome expertise from our clinician. So I'll go ahead and let our guests introduce themselves, and then we'll get started with some of our questions. All right, Dr. Schultz, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Chad Schultz. I am currently a lead dentist in Wausau and Fond du Lac. I own the Wausau practice and am currently working in both locations, splitting my time a little bit. I think we have, Becca said, mostly Marquette dental students on this call. So some of you may know Dr. Ricky Park, graduated last year, and he has been working with me in Wausau. I am a 2015 graduate of the University of Minnesota School of Dentistry. I applied to Marquette. I'm from Wisconsin. Wasn't quite good enough to get into Marquette, unfortunately, but graduated from Minnesota in 2015 and have been working for Aspen ever since graduating. And just recently started in the Fond du Lac office.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Schultz. Lisa, do you want to just do a quick introduction?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Sorry I can't be on video. I'm out running children around here at 8:30 at night in Michigan, so I apologize. But yes, I've been with Aspen for almost 10 years and recruiting all over the country, but have spent a lot of time in Wisconsin. So I think I might have brought you aboard, Dr. Schultz. Do you remember those days?
I think you did. I remember our first conversation.
Yes. And it's been a ride ever since. So anyways, welcome to the call, and I will be on as long as I can to answer any questions, as well as my information will be shared after the call that you can have questions for me. So thanks, Becca.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. All right, guys. So again, there's no questions that's off limits. We want to make sure that we are completely transparent. We want Dr. Schultz to answer any of these questions. We have quite a few D4s that jumped on the call. Thank you guys so much. For those of you guys that don't know Aspen Dental Management is a DSO. We're a dental service organization that provides support resources for our practicing clinicians. All of our offices are individually owned by our doctors like Dr. Schultz. We help the support and do everything in the background. Now, we have been around for over 22 years or so, and we have a little over 800 offices. So we have quite a few offices that allows for tons of opportunity for a lot of you guys are going to be graduating soon. So please don't hesitate to ask any questions regarding interviewing or locations and things like that. So a lot of you guys have already submitted some questions, so we'll go ahead and get started with those. All right, Dr. Schultz, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So the first question obviously is, why did you choose Aspen Dental over private practice? So tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so going into that senior year of dental school, which congratulations, you guys are in your 4th year and very close. So that's awesome. I'm sure you're very excited. But I was having conversations with my dad, who's also a dentist, and he was in private practice. And our plan had always been for me to join him in private practice upon graduation. But that first year out, we decided it would be better for him to continue to try to build up his private practice so there would be room for both of us. And so in that first year, I would get a little bit more experience. And basically I was looking at corporate dental DSOs, and basically whoever was going to pay me the most and get good experience while doing it. And if it wasn't a good situation, then I would, move on to something else. But I did my due diligence as far as some of the other DSOs out there, and Aspen was a really good fit. So I signed on, and in the summer of 2015, while I was waiting for all my paperwork and credentialing and things like that, I was actually going to be an associate between Fond du Lac and not Fond du Lac, or was it again? Manitowoc and Appleton, I think it was. And I got an offer to be the lead dentist actually in Wausau. And coming from dental school where you see 2 patients a day, I was a little anxious about going into a situation where I'd see a lot more than that. But I had a great training program, and they really kind of eased me into it. And I really had a good experience right from the get-go. I was very impressed with how they treated me and how they treated their other dentists as well as staff members. We'll probably get into this again with other questions, but not pressure to fill any sort of quota, production, anything like that. And so I guess as I was going through my training program, I was sharing this information with my dad, and he thought it sounded great. So he actually sold his private practice, and 3 months after I had joined Aspen, he joined himself. And so he purchased his office in Oshkosh while I ran Wausau. And so it's kind of been, a family affair to an extent, but it's a little bit different than what we had originally planned, but it's been great for us both, and he loves it. I haven't worked a day in private practice, whereas he's done most of his career in private practice, but he's really enjoyed the change.
Wow. So just because I just learned this information today too, Lisa, that Dr. Sid Schultz is Chad's father, who also works for Aspen. So I think that's fascinating that he worked for a private practice for how many years?
I think it was like 22, something like that, 22, 23.
22 years, sold his practice and joined you here at Aspen Dental. And now he owns how many practices?
He owns one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. And then you own one as well, Dr. Schultz, or?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. So that's a really interesting story. You don't usually hear that your dad leaves his private practice and joins you. So that's really cool. Awesome. So, did you get a chance to interview with other private practices?
I really didn't. I did interview with a few other DSOs, but I really kind of hit it off with Aspen, and everything I was kind of looking for right out of the gate aligned with what they had to offer for me. So it was kind of easy, really. And Lisa, I remember, just like she brought up, I remember having a call with her on one of my externships while in dental school, my 4th year, and it was just really easy from there on out, and I have had a really good experience. Awesome.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. Did you get provided any sort of mentorship when you first started, and what did that look like?
Yes. So I had to wait a little bit till I got a little bit more of my licensure, but I think it was about middle of August of the summer of 2015. I started a 7-week mentorship program with Dr. Lays, who's a owner in the Appleton, Wisconsin area. And that was extremely beneficial to me. I learned a ton, not just, how Aspen runs a practice, but also just oral surgery, which she was very efficient at, and running a team and running a productive schedule without it being, too stressful. So I feel like I had an exceptionally good training program and mentorship going into my situation.
Awesome. So we have a question that just popped up live. They're asking, is the office ownership typically 49% owner, Doc, and then 51% Aspen, or how does the ownership work? So I'm assuming they're asking about the partnership. So what does that look like, Dr. Schultz?
Right. So if you buy in and become I think it's POP is what the term is called. with the company, you do about a 55 and 45 split, depending on what that month's production is. So typically, I think they set it at about 150, which also sounds like a large number, but it's not really as far as the Aspen model is concerned. But you know, you have a split because Aspen takes care of a lot of the business aspects of running a practice, which allows you to focus, you know, on clinic. Which was also, I mean, my dad being in private practice, I could see where he didn't really enjoy that much as far as that part of the private practice, doing the business sort of thing. So it was really nice to have that support from a DSO organization. So yeah, there is a split even with ownership, but it's a much larger split than being a lead dentist or associate. I guess you can look at it that way.
Okay, so you take around 55%, Aspen takes about 45%, and then Aspen uses that 45% basically to cover the cost of supplies and running the office and the overhead. Lisa, is that correct?
Right, yep, yeah, pretty much, yeah, it's,
Right. And then that 45% also pays the hygienist and the DA and everything else, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so, and then you said the 150, the profit, you said that sounds pretty good.
All the management.
Yep, so basically all the management is paid for with that 45% that Aspen would take. And then you said the profit usually is about 150. Again, that seems high, but that's extremely
well, sorry, not the profit, the production per month.
Production, sorry.
Yeah, they have a
Absolutely.
benchmark which designates between either 50-50 or 55-45.
Okay, I hope that answered your question. If you guys have any other questions, please again, jump in and you can ask those live. All right, awesome. So Dr. Schultz, name a few things that you really enjoy about working at Aspen. So what are some of the things you enjoy? And I guess you can definitely touch on some of the things that, you know, that you don't love so much, or some of the things you might change. So what are some of those things?
I really enjoy the team aspect, and that there's, you know, it's not just me as a private practice dentist that's, you know, going in and having to do everything. I feel like a lot of support from ADMI that wants us to succeed every day. And even if, you know, building up the practice, there were a lot of struggles, particularly, you know, in Wausau, and even now when I'm building up Fond du Lac, that I just have a tremendous amount of support that I wouldn't, you know, have that same access to if I wasn't with Aspen. So I've really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed the events that this company throws are just spectacular. I've always enjoyed, you know, going to those with my dad. They have a yearly leadership conference. They'll also do, you know, these, the interaction that we're having now, even though it's kind of fun, we're getting to do it through technology. A lot of times we're able to do these in person and get to meet with you guys. And they also have, you know, vibe sessions where we, either would get to do a fun event and kind of come together as a company, or they've kind of transitioned them to, you know, getting to know and interview potential, you know, fourth-year dental students that may potentially come to work with us.
Awesome. Now, I want to go back to your dad's situation. Has he like compared what it was like to work at a private practice and what it's like now at Aspen? Like, what are some of the things that he talks about in comparison to such a shift in his career?
Right. He doesn't have, I guess, a lot of the same headaches that he used to, as far as just kind of, you know, he had to wear a lot of different hats. He had to be the office manager. He had to be the dentist. He, you know, had to be the groundskeeper. I mean, there was just, he had to, my mom, his wife, ran the books. You know, it was just kind of a lot of stuff that even after he put down the drill, there's a lot of things that he had to continue to work on to make the office be a successful practice. And, you know, he doesn't have to have all those additional responsibilities, of which he really wasn't an expert in. He got experience, obviously, over the course of his career with it, but it was never something that he particularly went to school for or had a huge affinity for. So it's nice to have, you know, that support with Aspen, that there are people who really love doing those sort of tasks and are good at them that are helping us run a successful practice.
Absolutely. Awesome. Now, I mean, there's quite a few, so I'm going to kind of shift through some of these questions. What type of patients does Aspen typically see in their practice? And do you guys accept Medicaid?
I don't believe we accept state aid. I'm not 100%.
Not at all. Not at all. We don't
Not at
take
all.
that.
Thank you, Lisa.
Nope.
So yeah, state insurance, I don't think we accept. But you know, I guess we kind of walked into one of the benefits of Aspen again, is that I really don't have to be much of an expert as far as any of that stuff. And I know that's kind of a basic question, but you know, my office manager takes care of all that, and I'm really able to focus with the patient and basically say, you know, I'm bringing in my treatment coordinator to answer all those questions. I'm going to help them as far as the clinical side of things goes. What was the first part of that question again?
What kind of patients are you seeing?
Oh, what kind of patients? Yeah, so a wide range, I would say. But for the most part, it is often a person who's kind of, you know, stayed away from the dentist for a while and is now ready to either get a chief concern, you know, a toothache is bringing them in, or, you know, they're ready to fix their smile, have you know, they've taken care of their kids for years and they're ready to, you know, help themselves out finally. So it's a wide range. We get kids as well, but for the most part, it's, you know, I don't know, 20 to 60-year-olds. I mean, there's a wide range in there as well. But the fun thing is we've got so many different services that we can also provide those patients, especially in the recent years with the company's initiative with implants, and things like Invisalign have been a lot of fun, especially over the last year and a half. So we're able to provide a lot more care than we may have traditionally. I guess we're probably known for being, you know, a bit of more of a denture business, and I feel like we've really kind of become experts in that field, which is really nice for those patients seeking that. But we've also expanded and become really good in a lot of other areas too, which is a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up, because I know that a lot of students during our lunch and learns would say, I feel like Aspen does a lot of dentures. Are you guys a denture mill? And you know, the response is we do a lot of them because we've gotten so good at them, and we have those labs, right? We have our labs, our in-person labs that have that turnaround period of, what is it, just a couple weeks, maybe a week? I heard turnarounds of just a couple days. What does that look like?
Yeah, it depends on the patient's situation. You know, if they're bringing in a pre-existing denture and they need some extractions on the bottom, and are going with like a replacement upper with a new lower denture, you know, there might be a few more steps than a patient that's coming in with rampant tooth decay, and we're able to help them out, take those impressions that same day, get a bite registration, and then, you know, sometimes the next appointment, we're able to help that patient out of those infected teeth and into immediate upper and lower dentures. And they're high quality dentures, even the immediates, with a lot of care given to the patient with the post-op and follow-up visits with soft liners and things like that until we get them into that final denture situation. So it's been really cool to be able to help a patient like that out in such a short amount of time. So yeah, that part's been great.
Awesome. Okay, so we have some great questions that populated about your transition out of dental school. So this question's asking, how long did it take for you to transition up to speed once you started working after dental school?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I was very nervous about that, I will be honest. Even no matter what amount of work I was going to do as an associate, that's what I was going to start out as. And I called up a lot of the, you know, surrounding Wisconsin Aspens, and I actually called the front desk, I guess, and asked like, hey, how many patients does your associate dentist see? And they'd be like, what? And they'd go and they'd find the answer out for me, and they'd tell me, you know, 10 to 12, something like that. And then the lead dentist was sometimes seeing, you know, 20, 25, 30 patients a day. And again, like going from a morning patient and an afternoon patient, even your senior year of dental school, except maybe on rotations and things like that. But that was a lot of patients, it sounded like to me. So I was certainly nervous about that. But they assured me that they would ease me into it. and show me how to be able to handle a situation like that. And they did. Dr. Lays ran a very busy practice, continues to, and she just kind of showed the way of how to, be able to manage a schedule like that. And then once I left her practice in Appleton and took over in Wausau, I still didn't go straight to a real busy schedule. I think we had maybe like there's like 3 columns. There's a production column, a new patient column, and overflow, where you've got denture steps, denture adjustments, things like that. So I think we started by opening like 2 columns for me, maybe new patients and some overflow. And they really did a nice job of easing me into it without making it feel overwhelmed. And I've seen that now too with, working with my associate doc, Dr. Park, when he came on about 1.5 years ago. And then his transition to becoming a lead dentist and things like that. It's been amazing actually to see how fast he picked it up. It was incredible. But I feel like Aspen does a really nice job of having the support around you as far as dental assistants and office managers and front desk that are real good support that allow us to run a successful practice.
Awesome. So there's a follow-up question with that, and it says, how do you feel about the quality of service for patients at Aspen, given prior bad press about DSOs? So I'm
Sure.
assuming, you had this conversation with your dad, right? Since he ran a private practice, you were looking at DSOs. Obviously you guys, hear about DSOs. And again, not every DSO is the same, right? So, but the thing is, because DSO is such an umbrella term, we get lumped in to all DSOs. So Aspen Dental is a very, very different DSO versus Pacific or Midwestern or Dental Dreams. There's so many out there. So guys, I would say do your research, ask tons of questions, and understand that we're not all in one the same. So Dr. Schultz, how do you feel about your quality of service to your patients?
Right.
I feel what you hear about in school.
Yeah, I feel it's been very good. I feel like, you as the dentist, you set the standard as well. We want high quality for our patients, and Aspen in no way, comes into compromise that, in my opinion. So we get the training from dental school, and we, learn, the Aspen protocols, but it's never been something that compromised care for the patient. I think, we can make our judgment call on anything. Aspen helps us be productive, but they're not going to push us to do a certain time for a filling or a crown prep or extractions, anything like that. So if you needed more time for an appointment here, or a certain patient needed a little bit more care, I haven't seen any pressure as far as, time limits or production or anything like that.
Awesome. So from my understanding is there's no quotas, there's no, obviously you have full autonomy. So there's not someone breathing down your neck telling you have to do X, Y, and Z. This is your license. You do what you feel comfortable doing, correct? Right,
exactly. And, at the start, when I talked about that 150 designation, that's really, at the point that you're an owner. And I think they like to talk about it, you start dating Aspen, and then, if you want to continue with the company, some people decide they want to be associate dentists, some people want to be lead dentists, and then there's some people who want to continue up and become partners or own their own office. And that's really where that 150 designation comes into play. It's, it's not really like, hey, you guys got to hit 150 or anything like that.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, guys, because we have an awesome career path, right? We have an opportunity for our D4s to come in as associates. You had a really unique experience because you came in as a lead dentist, right? MCD. Now, guys, when we say MCD, it's a managing clinical director. It's basically a lead dentist. And then Dr. Schultz also mentioned a POP, which is basically our owner doctors. It's the practice ownership program. We love acronyms over here at Aspen. So we throw all sorts of random stuff together, but the path is associate, MCD, and then POP ownership. There's also an opportunity for partnership. So there is an awesome career path that you can take. Dr. Schultz got lucky enough to sneak in as an MCD. That doesn't usually happen. You kind of have to be on your A game, really, do really well, and also be able to learn and grow and also mentor. Now, are you mentoring now, Dr. Schultz? You said, did you mentor Dr. Park?
I mentored Dr. Park, yeah. So I'm, not currently, although I still go back to Wausau and we talk through cases, and he always, can call me anytime on the phone. Sometimes we talk every day, going over cases or questions. But I've loved the mentorship. I've had really good experiences, like I said, with going into it and having a great mentor, and then mentoring Dr. Park was an awesome experience as well. So I've really enjoyed it.
Awesome. So a question just popped up here. It says, if I start as an associate, how quickly can I become a managing clinical director or lead at Aspen Dental?
Yeah, I don't think there's any, specific timeline. Like I kind of talked about, just with me, for example, they had a need for a lead dentist, and they said they would ease me into it, but that's what I started as. Not saying that's for everybody. Sometimes it's kind of nice to start as an associate and just kind of get your feet wet and see how the practice runs. But I'd say there's no specific timeline. If it works out and someone wants to get up to that within a couple months, I don't see that being a barrier. If they want to be an associate for a year and a half, there's no problem with that either.
Absolutely. Guys, there's no time frame. I mean, if you think it's the right path for you and you are passionate, you have the leadership capability, there's definitely that opportunity to grow. But like Dr. Schultz said, if you are comfortable being an associate, you want to get your speed up, you want to get comfortable, get your hand skills up, then stay as an associate as long as you want. There's no one fits all, right? So there's tons of different opportunities. You basically take the path that you want. Awesome. So Dr. Schultz, geographically speaking, did you wind up working somewhere you wanted, or did you have to move?
I had to move a little bit. It was still close enough. I'm originally from the Fox Valley area, so yeah, you guys are from Wisconsin for the most part, so you know where that is, just south of Green Bay area. So Wausau was about an hour and a half away, which was kind of nice. And then now Fond du Lac is a little bit closer to where I'm from originally. So yeah, I moved a little bit further away, but it was an amazing opportunity right out of dental school. I don't know about your guys' loan situations, but mine was very high, being out of state at Minnesota. So I just couldn't pass up that situation, and it was great. I love the area. I love working with the patients there. Really enjoyed the team I was with as well, which that's huge, is the team that you get to work with every day. It's like a second family. So I did have to relocate a little bit.
Did you get any sort of tuition reimbursement? Is that what you mentioned?
I did. Yep. So I got, what was it, like $200,000 over the course of 4 years tuition reimbursement, as well as lead dentist salary. And then they also helped with relocation. I didn't end up using, all, or I think probably not even most of that $200,000, because I went into ownership within, I think, a year and a half about. But it was a really nice incentive, and certainly kind of sealed the deal as far as going to that particular location.
Absolutely.
Becca, can I touch on that?
I was about to say, Lisa, can you jump in, chime in about some of those opportunities and what that looks like?
Yeah, well, especially the student loan. So I just want to, actually, Dr. Schultz, you're one of the pioneers of the student loan program.
Oh, cool.
Believe it or not, that was, what was that? We said 4 years ago? Yeah, that's about right. So we do definitely offer student loan, but typically, especially the amount that Dr. Schultz got would be in an extremely hard to fill area, just to be very honest, but we do offer it. In Wausau at the time, and still, is a little bit of more of a difficult area in Wisconsin to find doctors. In fact, like right now we are opening a new office in Marinette. So, you know, that's definitely up there as I'm Google mapping and trying to figure out who lives there. So it's definitely up there. And so those are like locations where we're willing to, you know, definitely do more like Dr. Schultz got. But there's a lot of those opportunities across the country. So I would say the more flexible you are, the better opportunity you'll have for things like student loan, possible sign-on, things like that. But I just want to be upfront and say getting student loan doesn't automatically assure that's going to be 200,000 or something like that. It really depends upon what we can do.
Maybe I shouldn't have thrown the exact amount out there.
No, that's okay. It's out there on our website. You know what? It's okay because we do offer it 100%. We do offer it, but not everywhere. So
absolutely. Thank you, Lisa.
Yep.
So guys, if you are interested in some opportunities that do offer student loan, so just remember the harder to fill locations, the more rural locations, the areas where we don't have an abundance of candidates are those areas that are going to offer that. And that can vary from, you know, 25,000 to 200,000. That's insane. But those are going to be areas that we are having a harder time filling. So for those of you that want to be in Chicago or Miami or Dallas or all those great metro sexy areas, that's not going to happen. Okay, so good question just popped up here. How early do you have to start looking and applying for a job as a D4? Oh my gosh, now. Lisa, let's talk about that. Lisa, did I lose you? Well, she's running around with her.
Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, no,
sorry.
So they're asking, how soon as a D4 do they want to start looking? That's a great question.
Oh, that is a great question. So I had the most interesting conversation with a D4 yesterday from Loma Linda. And I was the first person he had spoken with. And he wants a certain area in Western Michigan. And I, you know, kind of asked him, I said, listen, you know, what is your timeline? Like, let's say you interviewed and you were interested and you got an offer. Would you accept a job today? He's like, oh, you know, I really hadn't thought about that. You're the first person I talked to, and all my classmates aren't even looking yet. And I said, he said, are people accepting jobs now? I said, well, we hired our first 2021 grad in early August. I said, you're definitely right within the time frame. The sooner, the better. I've been here 10 years, and I told him, and I'll tell you all, I have seen the time frame move up immensely. Like back when I started, it was like January, February. Then it started to roll back December, November, and now it's rolling back into the prior summer, literally, where we're hiring grads for the next year. It doesn't happen everywhere. It just depends upon, you know, what the anticipated need is, but opening so many new offices, we typically try to open with 2 doctors, and, you know, owners see themselves growing, so they know what their needs are going to be, et cetera, et cetera. So the moral of the story, sooner rather than later, because those positions or areas that you really want are going to get snapped up really quick. And I also would say, like I said earlier, the more flexible you are, the better, but it is never too soon to start looking. We already have several 2021 grads hired.
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. We are, I mean, I'm helping with the recruiting team as well. So we are interviewing 2020 grads now. I had quite a few earlier. We are setting up shadow days. So if you are interested in learning more about those opportunities, do not hesitate to reach out to me, and I can get you in touch with Lisa. I can get you in touch with anybody in areas that you're interested in. But like she mentioned, if you are interested in areas, metro areas or sexier areas, those are going to go fast. So the sooner the better. Now, while we're on the subject, Dr. Schultz, are you looking for any associates, MCDs for the spring? Any opportunities for some of our D4s that are online now?
Absolutely, yeah. We're looking for some D4s to join our team. So we're looking at the Wausau area as well as Fond du Lac, Oshkosh areas. So,
Awesome. And are you cool with shadow days and stuff like that? So the students can come in shadow? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be a great thing, that you guys can come into the office, see how it runs on a day-to-day basis. That'd be a lot of fun.
Awesome. So if we have any D4s that are interested in doing a shadow day or even just coming in and chatting with Dr. Schultz, do not hesitate to reach out. We can definitely set that up. But let's keep going because we have quite a few questions, guys. If there's any other live questions you guys want to ask, please throw them in the Q&A box at the bottom. But we still have quite a few questions that were submitted on the form. So let's keep going. Here's a good one. Give me 1 second. Let me highlight this. What has been the hardest adjustment in the real world as a dentist?
I was actually thinking about this question to a certain extent before hopping on the call, but in the other way, because it's so much more fun being on this side of dental school, at least to me. I enjoyed dental school. It was fine, but it wasn't nearly as much fun as real world dentistry. And I think, for the most part, you're all going to experience that as well. But there's just not many stresses working for this company. They do a really nice job. I feel like as a general dentist, this is like the perfect fit because we're becoming like specialists in general dentistry. If there's things you don't really like to do, I don't particularly like to do root canals. So I haven't done a root canal since dental school. If there's like difficult extractions that you're not super comfortable, or at least maybe not right off the bat, great company for that too. I actually love extractions. I think it's a lot of fun, but part of that was because I had great mentorship during those first 7 weeks with my mentor doctor, not necessarily from an oral surgery rotation in dental school. I learned so much more while on the job with Aspen as far as that goes. But again, the question was hardest transition. There's some days that are stressful. You get to know patients and have a relationship with them, and some people have been through some really tough stuff, and it's not easy sometimes if you've got patients who, there are people who just can't afford to get a tooth extracted, and it happened in dental school. It happens in the real world too. So that can be kind of tough. Some days are more stressful than others, but I think, we've got a great communication with the rest of the staff. And if you ever are feeling like, oh man, that was kind of a stressful day, that was maybe a little bit more than I can handle, you just talk to your, treatment coordinator, your fellow doc, whatever you got to do. And it's real easy to adjust the schedule too. So it's really, compared to dental school, just the stress level just drops, at least for me. And I hope it will for everybody on this call too, no matter what you decide to do with dentistry. But I feel like Aspen really helped me with that.
Awesome.
And my dad.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming you've also had good conversations with your dad.
Yeah. Yep. I had kind of a built-in mentor with him. And rather than working with him every day, we'll talk like after our work. So he drives home, has a little bit of a commute. He used to have a much longer commute to Oshkosh. My parents built a house in Neenah, and so he's got a shorter commute now, but we always talk at the end of the day and kind of compare notes. During the day, I was always able to call him, especially early on, if I had a question, something that popped up that I hadn't seen. We get comfortable seeing a lot more patients than we ever did before, but there's still stuff that's going to come up that, we could definitely use some help on. So I had a great mentor with him with that, but we've also got a great community of Aspen dentists that we can reach out to with any sort of questions we may have.
Awesome. Lisa, what's the networking amount of Aspen Dental dentists that work for us? Is it 1,200?
What's the total amount of dentists we have in the network?
Yeah.
I say that's about right. That sounds about right.
1,200?
Yep.
So you literally have 1,200 people in your network that you can reach out to. And the great thing, Dr. Schultz, is like you said, we have such an awesome culture and community where we have all these events where you meet some great people. You become friends with some great people. Mm-hmm. We have different CE courses and trainings where you some wonderful people that I'm assuming you become, lifelong friends with. Now, you mentioned...
Can I pop in? I just had something really quick just to tell him.
Absolutely.
When he was talking about, not really liking doing endo, et cetera, we have, and I don't know currently we have them in Wisconsin, but by and large in every state, we have at least one oral surgeon and one endodontist that travel through office to office each month. So when you have those cases and those things like those, endo procedures that you're not fond of or are too difficult or don't make sense in your schedule, et cetera. Same with oral surgery. You have those specialists in your office every month. So you can refer your patient, but keep them in your practice. So I just wanted to mention that.
Absolutely. I was going to actually bring that up because questions that popped up. Lisa, thank you. Great transition is, do you offer specialty and what kind? So Dr. Schultz, do you have any specialty that comes into your office in particular?
Yes, we have oral surgery. I'd say pediatrics, we refer out. Ortho, we used to have to refer out. A lot of it, we're able to help that same patient out that we weren't able to 2, 3, 4 years ago now with Invisalign. I don't know how many of you are Packer fans or watch the NFL, but you see Invisalign advertised all over the place now. And it's been a really fun technology to work with and can do some amazing things. That, before you'd just be like, well, are you interested in, fixing your smile maybe with braces? And, if they, every once in a while you get a patient who'd be like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. And maybe they do, or want an ortho referral. And now with what we know we can do, we can help so many more patients out. And it's been really cool to see the difference it makes. Not just to their aesthetics and their smile and their confidence, but also to the gum health, and I'm sure you guys all know this, but the gum health and just the forces on those teeth, you really help, those molars from fracturing and things like that. So a lot of patients have been very interested in it once they hear about it. So that's been a really cool initiative that we've done over the last couple of years.
Awesome. Great transition, Doc, because a question that just popped up is, does Aspen Dental provide CEs or do you have to pay for them yourself? Great question.
Yeah, really good question. We had an awesome CE actually during the kind of this coronavirus period where we would take an implant course. So it was really well set up, awesome instructor. Dr. Sundeep did a really good job. I think he won a really big award too. I can't recall the name of it off the top of my head. Maybe Lisa or Rebecca, you know what that was called, but a nationally recognized CE program. But yeah, there's tons of free CE that Aspen provides as well. But during these leadership conferences, they'll do CE that you get. There's a lot of opportunity for it.
Absolutely. Guys, we offer hundreds and probably thousands of CE courses online. Those are all covered by Aspen. We have a library of free CE courses. And then we have a lot of those specialty courses. We have, like Dr. Schultz mentioned, Invisalign was a huge initiative where we are training all of our doctors on Invisalign. Implant training is another huge initiative he brought up. Yeah. We are transitioning and training our doctors in implants. So as of right now, we are actually offering all those CE courses that are on our library for free to anybody in the dental industry. So that was an initiative that Aspen just threw out there during COVID. And while everybody was kind of on lockdown and, all of our students, weren't able to go to school. So this is a great opportunity for you guys because it's free for dental students and for any dental professional, and they're free through March of 2021. So I will, at the end of this, we'll put that link on and you guys can take advantage of all those courses for free. And they are all certified CE courses. But yeah, I used to work for a DSO, another DSO in my past life, where they would offer $1,500 reimbursement towards CE. $1,500 a year, that could literally be one course, right? One course can cost you $1,500. And the fact that we offer tons and tons of courses online, and we've created and built a doctor development office program in Chicago where they're doing tons of training and CE courses. Dr. Schultz, I'm pretty sure that implant course was going to be live in Chicago, but obviously COVID happened. And now they are offering a good chunk of it online. And we're hoping that once things kind of get back to normal, we'll be able to start offering those in person again. Same thing with the Invisalign training. So that's a great question. Lisa, do you want to throw anything in there about CE courses, or did I cover that? You're on mute.
I know, I don't know how to unmute still. No, I think you covered it pretty well. I think you're okay. I just think Invisalign and the implant training are just, I get asked about especially implants, but both all the time. And, it's a definite yes that we offer those. So they're both excellent programs. So.
Absolutely. Now, Doc, what kind of cases do you have to refer out, if any? You said you didn't love endo, which, you know, you can refer that out, but if you have to refer out any questions, or I'm sorry, any cases, is the question, what do you refer out?
Sure. You know, pediatrics, I'm not super comfortable working with very young kids, so we'll refer those out. We've got some great pediatric dentists in the area. And then, you know, very high anxiety patients that would be better served being sedated. But a lot of those, like you said, we do have in-house specialties. So once or twice a month, our own oral surgeon will come into the office, and those patients can be seen either by Dr. Radovan, or they can be, you know, referred out to a local oral surgeon. But the cool thing is, you know, a lot of those patients still need their dentures. So, you know, we're able to refer them out or in-house, but we're still able to provide them, you know, great denture care.
Okay, awesome.
Other things to refer out, perio, but not so much perio, I guess. It's mostly oral surgery, very difficult ortho cases, but you know, like I said, there's a lot of things that Invisalign is able to take care of now. So I'd say oral surgery and pediatrics are probably the two big ones.
Awesome. Guys, we kind of touched on this earlier. We do have specialty endo and oral surgery. Now, not every office will have that. It just really depends, but we do have traveling endo and oral surgeons that kind of hop around to all of our different offices, and we usually fill those schedules. And because they are Aspen endos and Aspen oral surgeons, that production stays in-house, which is nice. You kind of touched on that. That kind of brings up this next question, which obviously we always get this. Lisa, I'm going to have you probably jump in if Dr. Schultz, you can answer it. How does Aspen Dental pay? Do you pay off production or collection? Who wants to answer that?
I can answer that high level. All of our doctors earn a guaranteed daily salary that's paid out bi-weekly, and that varies kind of depending upon location and owner and so on. And then they earn a percentage of the profits of the office. So they're not paid on production or collections. Rather, they earn a percentage of the entire gross profits of the practice. So it's a different model, but it works. And our doctors do very well from a financial standpoint versus just being paid off of, say, production. So it's of the profits of the practice, which is a combination of all of the providers in the practice, the general dentist, the hygienist, and the specialist that visit. So it's a combination of everyone's work. So it's a team effort.
Love it. So spot on, guys. And again, I worked for a DSO that paid off 30% of your production, which can be kind of difficult when you're a new grad, right? Like you're not really producing very much. You're kind of learning. You're a little on the slow side. So getting paid off production can be a little daunting. So we pay our docs a daily guarantee, which is their salary. And then we also pay on the production of the whole office, which consists of your hygienist, consists of, like Dr. Schultz said, you have an oral surgeon that comes in, you have your MCD, whether you have an associate, whether you have an owner. So it's kind of a honeypot. Everyone's production goes into one, and then you get a percentage of that. So our pay structure is a little different, but I feel like our doctors do really well. Doc, now in your office, is it just you, or you have Dr. Park as your MCD? Tell me what your structure is at your office.
Yeah, so right now I'm full-time in Fond du Lac, except I go up to support Dr. Park and you know, help out the Wausau team about once every 4 weeks for a couple days. So kind of to that point, as far as the pay structure goes, it is pretty fun because, you know, it doesn't really matter if there's an extraction patient, extracting delivery that maybe if you were based off of production, you know, it'd be like, I want to do that case, you know, that's going into my pocket or something like that. Whereas, you know, with our system, it really doesn't matter. So, you know, early on, if that was something that Dr. Park was comfortable with, you know, he would do the case, and if he had an issue on a difficult tooth or something, I could pop in and help him out with it. So there's really no, you know, competition that can even happen as far as, you know, I want to do this procedure, you can only do this procedure, stuff like that. But yeah, my current situation, I'm going up there to support the office a couple times each month. Otherwise, I'm full-time in Fond du Lac.
Okay, awesome. And then do you have one hygienist, two?
Wausau has built up to a really productive office, so they actually do have 2 hygienists there. In Fond du Lac, we have 1.
Okay, awesome. So again, the production of the whole office, and that just creates a really good team culture, team environment. And like you said, it makes it so that our younger doctors that are associates or D4s are taking on more difficult cases, or cases that you usually wouldn't see because the MCD would take it if it was a high producing case, right? So it's allowing you guys to learn and to train, and it's in the owner's best interest to have you guys learn and have you guys, you know, be as hands-on as possible, because that just helps the production of the whole office, and it helps, I believe, the culture of the office as well. Awesome. So talk to me about quotas. Do you guys have any quotas in your office? Obviously, we talked about this earlier, but this question just popped up. Do you have any quotas that you have to meet?
No. I mean, you want to be as productive every single month, because that means you're helping out a lot of patients. You know, I think from an office, like, they do a nice job of taking account of the metrics and looking at numbers, seeing what you were last year and what you're at this year, things like that, and maybe having a goal. But, you know, all the time, you either make it, you're above that, or you're a little bit below that, or a lot below that. And there's no like, oh man, what happened here? There's none of that. So obviously you just do your best and do the best for the patients, and things take care of themselves for the most part.
Awesome. Now, how many new patients do you see per day, and how long do you have with each patient?
So that can vary a lot. I think right now in Fond du Lac, this past month, we averaged like just under 5 new patients a day. Wausau is maybe around 5.5 new patients a day. But I mean, I guess typically it takes maybe, like, as far as the dentist is with the new patient, maybe like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Depends how long it takes for you to, develop a relationship with that new patient, and, find out what's bringing them in, what you can do to help them out and address their chief concerns, and come up with a comprehensive treatment plan, or, take care of their, chief concern. Some people are coming in with a hot tooth that needs to be taken out, something like that. So, and they just need that one issue taken care of until we can get them into a, more comfortable situation where we can do the rest of the exam, something like that. But it varies. I mean, Mondays and Tuesdays, I think, are a little bit more busy. So you can have, 8 or 9 patients on that day, and maybe like 3, 4, 5 on a different day. So as far as the average, I think it was just under 5 this past month, and a little over 5 in Wausau.
Okay. Now, there's not a specific time frame that you are given, right? You kind of choose and dictate how much time you need with each patient. That's totally based on you. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when I was starting out, I set like new patient exams at like an hour and a half, just to make sure I had the time. And it's, the assistant takes x-rays with the new patient, then the hygienist goes in, does the probing, and we try to do handoffs in between each, so that patient doesn't just feel like a number, and then the dentist, I come in and meet with a new patient. So I'd say that as the fastest they go is maybe 30 to 45 minutes for the total appointment. You don't want them to feel like they've been there all day either. And then after our part, we transition and let the treatment coordinator help them into the care. But yeah, as far as the timeline, it really varies. If someone needs a little bit more time per new patient, that's no big deal. If someone wants to go a little bit faster with them, that's no big deal either. It's basically whatever the dentist and staff feel comfortable with. There's no strict time limit on it. I think we generally have them set at like an hour right now in Fond du Lac and Wausau.
Okay, awesome. Now, we got quite a few questions about COVID. Obviously, we all know that was a really hard time for everyone, especially in the dental industry. So one of the questions that popped up was, how did Aspen prepare and protect their dentists during the reopenings after COVID-19 and on?
Yeah, so we had conference calls with the CEO and the task force team they put together every single day. We were kept in the know, and there was a lot going on. But we had like half-hour to hour phone calls every day, which helped a lot. We did condense the schedules a bit just because there wasn't a lot of demand, but we stayed open. I thought the company did a really nice job. Some offices did shut down at different locations, or if there was, I think they did a nice job of keeping offices open so a patient didn't have to travel a long distance. But if it made sense to, close a few offices at the start of it, we did do that. But for the most part, the company stayed open, and we continue to help out those new patients or patients in pain. Just because the coronavirus didn't mean patients didn't have toothache still. So we stayed open. Yes, it was, a difficult time as far as, production and stuff, but we didn't really think about that too much during that time. We just stayed open, helped our patients. We had really good PPE. It was a little bit difficult securing N95s. I do remember I ordered a couple 3M Cool Flow packs of N95s that I'd wear, and then I'd have a surgical mask over that, and then we'd have a face shield over that. So I did, I think, off of eBay get the first couple boxes of N95s, but Aspen reimbursed me for it through ExpenseWire. So they did a really nice job with the PPE. And they listened to the dentists. They, lines of communication were wide open. They didn't leave us in the dark on anything. I thought they did a really nice job of staying in contact and helping us through it.
Awesome. I mean, one of the questions was, were you ever worried about PPE shortage? I'm assuming no, right?
Not really. No, on these calls, like I said, every single day, they brought it up. They told us there would be, some issues with it. But as far as what we needed to safely and effectively treat the patients that were coming in at that time, I had no problems. I can't speak to all the offices, but I would imagine their experiences were pretty similar to mine. If we had the same amount of patients as we always had, I think that could have probably ended up being an issue. But,
right.
For Wisconsin, the state was kind of shut down there as far as doing regular routine dental care. So we were only seeing emergency patients anyways. But yeah, never really had a shortage of PPE. And then we had a ton of it come in. So yeah, we're doing great with it.
Okay, awesome. And then I think we have time for one more question, guys. And this one was, what changes are you making now when you see patients due to COVID? So what does that look like now? So
I'm still wearing a surgical mask with a face mask as I go in to meet a new patient. Early on, I was kind of apologizing as far as it feeling kind of weird and personal, with the patient not being able to really see my face too much. But, patients have really kind of understood what's going on and been accepting of it. But yeah, I don't really shake hands anymore, which is kind of a bummer. I just kind of wave to the patients. So we're, careful with that sort of thing. As far as the protocols, to get a patient in, we do a really nice job. We do forehead scanning before every visit. We're going through a detailed, medical history and travel history, things like that. We have had to turn away some patients that either, had coronavirus within a certain amount of time or were in contact with people who had that and just said, we'll get you in. And these patients, for the most part, weren't in tooth pain, just regular checkups. But we'd get them in when it was safe to do so. So I think the company's done a really good job of being on top of all that, doing the right protocols, right procedures, and keeping us as a staff real safe.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Well, we didn't get a chance to finish all the questions, which is a total bummer. But if there's anything that you guys didn't get a chance to ask, or if one of the questions that I didn't get a chance to get to, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can definitely get those over to Dr. Schultz and get those answered for you guys. But I just want to say thank you so much, Dr. Schultz, for joining us, Lisa for joining us. Do you guys have any last words for our D4s? Any words of wisdom, Dr. Schultz?
I'd say, just have fun with your last year. I know, a lot of tests and competencies and things like that. I know I was going right up to the deadline with my partial. I was having a hard time getting that, but congratulations, you guys. You're very close. That's pretty exciting stuff. So hopefully this was helpful. But yeah, if anybody has more questions, sorry, I may have been long-winded with a few of my answers, but I've it's just been an awesome company to work for. I think you guys would really enjoy your experience. And I hope this was useful to you guys. But any other
Awesome.
questions, I can email you, Becca, and you can distribute those or whatever works best for you guys.
Perfect. Guys, again, Dr. Schultz has mentioned he does have some opportunities coming up in the spring. So if you guys are interested in learning more about those, please reach out. If you're interested in shadowing, that's a great opportunity for you guys to get your foot in the door and kind of get a feel of what the day-to-day looks like at one of our offices. Lisa is a phenomenal resource. She's one of our recruiters that helps out in the Wisconsin market, but also can place you guys nationwide. So we are here to help. We're here to answer your questions and to guide you guys. And again, I did mention we have those free CE courses, so please take advantage. I will post the link here shortly. But again, Dr. Schultz, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I will be in touch with you if anybody reaches out. And if you have any questions for me, please let me know. And again, thank you so much for being with us. Lisa, you're a doll too. I know you're running around with your girls and you were able to jump on, but I really do appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys. And then for any of you guys out there that have any questions, want to set up a shadow day, please reach out to me. I can get you over to the right folks. But that's all we have for tonight. Thank you guys so much. If you guys want to stay on for 1 second, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to get that link up for the free CE courses. Dr. Schultz, you can jump off. Have a great night. Lisa,
Right.
have
Thanks,
a great
guys.
night.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Becca.
guys. Take care. All right, guys. So here's the free CE courses for those of you that are interested. It is aspendental.com/welcome. You can log in and all these courses on here, create an account, are free for all of our students through March 2021. So again, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you guys so much for being on. Have a great night.